Is that Nate? Is that Nate?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I am Tamar Krishna Das
Okay.
from Ghana.
Good.
Yes.
Who is your spiritual master?
Come again.
Who is your spiritual master?
Tamar Krishna Das. Yeah. His Holiness. His Holiness Vaibhava Das Maharaj.
Okay. Yeah. Kalika Prabhu.
Krishna Maharaj.
And then Kamala.
My name is Das. My name is Salika Das. I'm the servant leader here in ISKCON Jos, Nigeria, North Central.
Yes. Yes, Kamala Prabhu has disappeared.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I know. You already introduced yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Kamala Krishna. I'm saying that Kamala Prabhu has disappeared.
Maybe it's having network problem.
Okay. Well, I think we have to start. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Citta Swami Jinamine Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Tatman Shigaura Karuna Sakti Bhakti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Jinamine Namaste Saravasudevi Gaura Vani Pracharane Nirvise Sasunyavadi Patata Divitane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivadari Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Om Jnanam Timnadas Jana Jana Sarapaya Saptum Samya Tasma Shkora Vinamaha. Shri Shitaramano Visam Sati Sanjina Putale. Vayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadatikam Panamatam Vandeham Sri Guru Siyuta Pada Kamalam Sri Guru Vashavanta Sri Rupam Sagarjitam Raghunatam Sajivam Savarutam Paritam Charitam Krishna Chetan Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahavananta Sri Vijikam Samanta Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Napadu Jagatete Gopi Sagodika Kanta Radakanta Namote Sapakana Go Rangi Rade Savana Sware Visavano Sute Devi Pranamami Vanchakal Patanam Jasta Kripa Samjaya Vata Patitanam Padane Video Krishna Video Namo Sri Krishna Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Bhakti Kita Swami Jinamani Namaste Krishna Padaya Papupa Satmani Sigo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Bhakti Vedanta Swami Jinamani Namaste Saravasudevi Gaura Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Bhakti Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivadari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Kam Kaloti Vajanam Pangam Lagate Gurum Dinakarna Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Yes. So I think Rasavan Prabhu has joined. You're welcome, Prabhuji. Is Rasavan Prabhu there?
Rasavan Prabhu, please introduce yourself.
There. Rasavan Prabhu.
Unmute and then introduce yourself to this class.
Yeah, this is Rasavan Das. Yes, I'm on the way to the temple.
Okay. How are you going to follow the class?
Yes,
How are you going to follow?
oh, by the grace of Krishna and your mercy, we are fine. I'm on the way to the temple.
How we are starting now.
Yes. I'm in the car, so I'll be listening from the car, and then and when I get to the temple, I'll do the rest there.
All right. Okay, good. Yeah, so we are starting unit 2, Narada's instruction to Vyasati. So you take, all of you take your handbook, the student book, page 21. Yeah. So we have this one. We have Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, verse 40 to Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 1, chapter 7 till verse 11. That will be the unit 2. And the unit 2 is scheduled in 5 lessons. Okay. Lesson 1, Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 1, chapter 3, verse 40 to 44, and Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 1, chapter 4, verse 1 to 25. This is lesson 1. Lesson 2, chapter 4, text 26 to 32, and chapter 5, verse 1 to 12. Lesson 3, chapter 5, text 13 to 22, and chapter 5, 32 to 36. Lesson 4, chapter 5, 33, 31, and chapter 6. And chapter 7, verse 1 to 11. Yeah. So this is the and if you take page, following page, no, page 22, no? Next page, 22. Page 22. Yeah. Yes. So this is the preliminary studies. Purva Swadhyaya, no? So how many of you read before? For coming? I didn't know. We didn't know. So there are some few questions there. Most of the time you need to read ahead of time. So today, after this session, for the next session, we're going to tell you from which verse to which verse you are going to read. Yeah. And these questions they help to improve improve our understanding. And there is one analogy there, and this chapter 4, text 4. While the conditioned soul does dream about spiritual engagements, the liberated soul is awake. Similarly, the engagement of the conditioned soul appears to be a dream for the liberated soul. So we have the whole session. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 verses. No, memorize. Okay. So what is that? I think the page. Verses to memorize. If you go to the last page of the whole book, you see all the verses there. The verses to memorize. It is chapter 3, text 40, chapter 3, text 43, completely at the last page of the book, the whole book. I think page from page 200 something, From page I don't know. From page it's not there. It's not there. It is at the back of the yes. Page 194. Page 194. You can see all the verses to memorize. This is your book, page 194. Krishna? Are you there?
Yes, Maharaj, I'm here. I'm scrolling to the page so that I can share it.
Yeah. Anyway, they have the book, so I think they can go there. Page 194. Yes. So, chapter 3, text 40. Chapter 3, text 43. Chapter 5, text 10. Chapter 5, text 11. Chapter 5, text 17. Chapter 5, text 18. Chapter 7, text 4. And chapter 7, text 5. Chapter 7, text 6. Chapter 7, text 7. And chapter 7, text 10. Yes. These are verses to memorize. I think Bhakti Vaibhava is not a joke. You were trying to escape the Bhakti Shastri slokas, but here we have more. Long ones. Yes, that's okay. Now, we have 3 analogies. Okay. I think it's 4 analogies. Yeah, 4 analogies. The first one, we get it on page 22. The second one, we get it on page 24. Then on page 24, we have 3 analogies are there. And then on page 26, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 analogies as well there. And page 28, we have 1, 2, 3 analogies are there also. Okay. And take the book on page. Page 31. There you'll see the learning objective. Okay. By the hand of the unit. Can someone read? Page 31. You volunteer to read? Can you read?
Maharaj, what is the page?
31.
31.
31. 31. Okay. By the hand of the unit, students should be able to. Chapter 3, identify and appreciate the benefits of worshipping the Srimad Bhagavatam. Chapter 4, identify guidelines for effective preaching. Identify principles to be applied from the behaviors of Sukadev and Vyasa. Explain in their own words the reasons for Vyasa's dividing the Vedas. Identify the reason for Vyasa's dissatisfaction and the lesson to be learned. In chapter 5, 25, the reason for Vyasa. Yes, okay, okay. Yeah. You can read chapter 5. Any volunteer? Hare Krishna.
Krishna Maharaj. Chapter 5. Chapter 5 questions. Identify the reasons for Vyasa's dissatisfaction and the lessons to be learned.
Yeah.
So on verses 1 to 9. Summarize Narada's instruction to Vyasa, day 10 to 19, verse. 3. Explain the difference between mundane and transcendental literature. 10 to 11. Identify selected statements highlighting Srila Prabhupada's mission. 11, 16, and 36. Explain the defect of impersonal speculation and fictive activities. Text 12. Explain the shortcomings of the literature compiled by Vyasa. 14. Explain what Srila Prabhupada means by the compromising spirit of Vyasa Day. 15. Identify statements that build one's faith in the process of Krishna consciousness. 17 to 19, verse. 6. Identifies principles from Narada's previous life to personally apply. Verses 23 to 31. And then finally, explain Karma Yoga as presented by Narada. Text number 32 to 36.
Okay, thank you very much, Prabhuji. So, next person should read the chapter 6. Prabhu?
Chapter 6. Identify principles from Narada's life to personally apply. 1 to 33.
Okay, go on chapter 7.
Then chapter 7. Identify from verses 4 to 7. A. Philosophical principles drawn from Vyasadev's vision. B. Supportive statements from Srila Prabhupada's purports. and lectures for this section. C. Supportive analogies and Gita verses for this section. Explain the meaning of the Atmarama verse 10. Explain the value of Srila Vyasadev's literary contribution 4 to 7.
Okay. That's good. Then take the book page 30. Yes.
Okay.
Somebody to read the understanding and personal application. These are some you need 2 open book assessment questions. Yeah. I'm not giving now, but you should know ahead of time. So someone to read understanding personal application 1. Madhuvan Prabhu, everybody can read that.
Understanding personal. As described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text number 5, explain the reasons for Srila Vyasadev's dissatisfaction using analogies and Sanskrit phrases from 11 verses. Identify general principles that can be drawn from Vyasa's discontent. Explain the relevance of these principles to your own life and how you could apply them to advance your spiritual progress.
Good. Next question. Read the next attempt. Kamala Sabu is there?
I am here, Maharaj.
Okay, read. Next one.
Yes. As described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, text 4 and 5. Explain the reason for Srila Vyasadeva satisfaction using analogy and Sanskrit passed from relevant verses. Identify general principles that can be drawn from Vyasa, this content. Explain the relevance of those principles to your own life and how you could apply them to advance your spiritual progress.
Okay.
I should go on?
Yes.
All right. Understanding preaching applications. As described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, 5:23 through 1:6:38. Identify 3 principles that can be drawn from the previous life of Sri Narada Muni. Cited those principles conveys non-devotees of your choice, students, businessmen, etc., about the truth of those principles and how they can be practically applied in your life.
Okay.
All right.
Another, the last one.
Mode and mission. Personal application. Identify Sanskrit and English phrases and statements from Srimad Bhagavatam 1, 5, 10 to 15 that reflect Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission. Explain what these statements mean to you and how they can guide your life. Be personal and specific.
Okay, good. Okay, these are the open books questions I'm going to give you. And the essays also will come later. Okay, Sanika Prabhu, what is the duration of the class? 2 hours?
The duration is 2 hours, Maharaj. But I want to make an observation here, and I think maybe we can discuss that with Chaitanya Prema. The Unit 1 sections, I think the time given, the section, numbers of sections that is given was too short. So His Holiness Srivas Brahmachari has to rush. And then so many things were not properly covered. And then it makes it difficult for the students to be able to actually face the examinations because he was trying to rush. I'm thinking that if in consultation with you, Chaitanya Prema can increase the numbers of sections we are going to have in this unit so that there can be proper dissemination of the knowledge that has to be captured in this unit. So the numbers of unit weeks he has ascribed to this unit, maybe we can increase it from the beginning so that it will give enough room. But each class is 2 hours.
Okay. And we're supposed to finish the unit 2 for how many weeks and how many days? A month, I don't know.
I don't know how many weeks he has ascribed for now. I can ask him, but obviously he has to increase the time based on what he projected before. The last unit was time given to it was too short.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's start today, and we will see. I will consult Chaitanya Prema Prabhu and his blessed brothers Manachari, and can conclude something.
Okay, Maharaj.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we have to start today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we take Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 1, Chapter 3, Text 40. Yeah. How do we translate together?
Maharaj?
Do you read the Sanskrit together? Or?
Yeah, it's your choice, Maharaj. Whichever way you want to conduct. You can decide how you want.
So the sloka on the screen, or?
Yeah, I will display it. Each of the slokas on the screen, and then you can decide if the students could read and you decide the pace. But I will be displaying the verses on the screen.
So display the first verse, Chapter 3, verse 40.
Okay, I'm going there now. Oh, sorry. I was in another place. Sorry. First Canto, chapter 3, verse number 40. I was reading chapter 10 of Bhagavatam, so I'm sorry. Okay, now we are here. I can share. Yeah, this is it.
Yes. So I read this first one. Itam Bhagavatam Nama Pranam Brahma Sritam Utavasuka Charitam Kara Bhagavan Rishi Vishesha Sasya Lokasya Sanyam Vasti Ayanam Mahat. So we go to the translation. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good for all people. and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Anyone wanted to read the purport?
Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared that Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless sound representation of all Vedic knowledge and history. There are selected histories of great devotees who are in the direct contact with the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam is the literal incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna and is therefore non-different from him. Srimad Bhagavatam should be worshipped as respectfully as we worship the Lord. Thereby, we can derive the ultimate blessings of the Lord through his careful and patient study. As God is all light, all bliss, and all perfection, so also is Srimad Bhagavatam. We can have all the transcendental lights of the Supreme Brahman, Sri Krishna, from the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, provided it is received through the medium of the transparent spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya's private secretary, Srila Sharup Damodara Goswami, advised all intending visitors who came to see the Lord at Puri to make a study of the Bhagavatam of the Person Bhagavatam. Person Bhagavatam is the self-realized bona fide spiritual master, and through him only can one understand the lesson of Bhagavatam in order to receive the desired results. One can derive from the study of Bhagavatam all benefits that are possible to be derived from the personal presence of the Lord. It carries with it all the transcendental blessings of Lord Sri Krishna that you can expect from his personal contact. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So you can see that from this verse, the word was mentioned 10 times, huh? Srimad Bhagavatam, 10 times. And we have to understand that Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna. Of course, Krishna is absolute. His name, his form, his name, his qualities, paraphernalia are not different from himself. Same thing with Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna. So if you have Bhagavatam, you are holding Krishna. Okay? So you don't see Srimad Bhagavatam as an ordinary book. You will see that in the other verses that when Krishna was ascending after the Kurukshetra battle, when he was going back to Goloka, then at the same time, Srimad Bhagavatam descended. And it is meant for the ultimate good for all people. All successful, all blissful, all perfect. Actually, having Srimad Bhagavatam in one home or reading Srimad Bhagavatam means we are directly associating with Lord Krishna. Yeah. So it is a very powerful book. Yeah. So that in the purpose, Chaitanya Prabhu said the Srimad Bhagavatam is present the spotless some representation of all Vedic knowledge in the history, not different from Krishna, and should be worshipped. Actually, every morning you can take some agabati, some incense, some flowers, and do harti to Srimad Bhagavatam. If there is no, you find yourself in a place there is no temple, and if you have Bhagavatam, if you have some incense, and do arati to Srimad Bhagavatam is as good as worshiping Krishna. Yeah. There are great blessings. For those who reach, they get great blessing. And it is even light, bliss, and perfection. Like Krishna, like God. Yeah. Text 41. Text 41. Sadidam grahayam dasa sutam atmavatam varam sarva videtitanam sarva saram saram samoditam. Srila Vyasadeva delivered it with his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized. After extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe. Kamala Sabu is there, please read the purport.
Men with a poor fund of knowledge only accept the history of the world from the time of Buddha or since 600 BC. And prior to this period, all histories mentioned in the scriptures are calculated by them to be only imaginary stories. That is not a fact. All the stories mentioned in the Puranas and Mahabharata, etc., are actual histories, not only of this planet, but also of millions of other planets within the universe. Sometimes the history of planets beyond this world appears to such men to be unbelievable, but they do not know that different planets are not equal in all respects, and that therefore some of the historical facts derived from other planets do not correspond with the experience of this planet. Considering the different situations of different planets and also time and circumstances, there is nothing wonderful in the stories of the Puranas, nor are they imaginary. We should always remember the maxim that one man's food is another man's poison. We should not therefore reject the stories and the histories of the Puranas as imaginary. The great rishis like Vyasa had no business putting some imaginary stories in their literatures. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, historical facts selected from the histories of different planets have been depicted. It is therefore accepted by all the spiritual authorities as the Mahapurana. The special significance of these histories is that they are all connected with activities of the Lord in a different time and atmosphere. Srila Sukadeva Goswami is the topmost authority of all the self-realized souls, and he accepted this as the subject of studies from his father. Yesterday, Srila Vyasadeva is the great authority, and the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam being so important, he delivered the message first to his great son, Srila Sukadeva Goswami. It is compared to the cream of the milk. Vedic literature is like the milk ocean of knowledge. Cream or butter is the most palatable essence of milk, and so also is the Srimad Bhagavatam, for it contains all palatable, instructive, and authentic versions of different activities of the Lord and his devotees. There is no gain, however, in accepting the message of Bhagavatam from the unbelievers, atheists, and professional reciters who make a trade of Bhagavatam for the laymen. It was delivered to Srila Sukadeva Goswami, and he had nothing to do with the Bhagavad business. He did not have to maintain family expenses by such trade. Sriman Bhagavatam should therefore be received from the representative of Sukadev, who must be in the renounced order of life without family encumbrance. Milk is undoubtedly very good and nourishing, but when it is touched by the mouth of a snake, it is no longer nourishing, rather, it becomes a source of death. Similarly, those who are not strictly in the Vaishnava discipline should not make a business of this Bhagavatam and become a cause of spiritual death for so many.
Yes.
I'm not seeing the screen again. Yeah, for so many.
You go.
So many hearers. In the Bhagavad-Gita, the Lord says that the purpose of all the Vedas is to know him, Lord Krishna, and Sriman Bhagavatam is Lord Sri Krishna himself in the form of recorded knowledge. Therefore, it is the cream of all the Vedas, and it contains all historical facts of all times in relation with Sri Krishna. It is factually the essence of all histories.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Yes, so from this verse you can understand that many people nowadays think that Hare Krishna movement is new because it's now appearing to the highs. But actually, Buddha, it is mentioned in the verse that people things started from when Buddha appeared. Buddha appeared 4,000 years ago. Jesus Christ, I think, is 3,000 years ago. Mohammed is 2,000. Krishna spoke Bhagavad-Gita to Arjuna more than 5 years ago. That the Puran has been existing very, very long time. That's Puran. Puran means ancient, very old. It's not a new thing. And also another characteristic of the Mahapuran is that we have to listen it from the right source, with the proper mood. So Srimad Bhagavatam describes the 4 types of 8 types of listeners of Srimad Bhagavatam. There are 4 good ones and 4 bad ones. Yeah. So those who listen to Bhagavatam like it's like a bird. You know that bird drinks only water that falls from the rain. If there's no raining, that bird is not drinking any water. Okay? Means we have to take only what is related to Krishna. You know? The 7th type of listener is the swan. The swan can extract, if you mix water and milk, this one can extract the milk from the water. Means when you reach the books, you can take only what is related to Krishna. That's all. And the parrots also is the 3rd kind of listener. The parrots can recite exactly what he had. Actually, that's the name of Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami, he recited the Bhagavatam as he got it. Parrots, Shuka means parrots. And the last one, the fish. The fish, they live in the ocean. They drink without drinking the high quietly. So we have to reach the Bhagavatam quietly, steadily. No mobile phone, no other planning, nothing. Go and take some rest, went past water. No. Sukadev Goswami, for the 7 good days, was delivering the Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. 7 good days. Parikshit Maharaj was listening with rapt attention, without moving, sitting in the same position, like that. Yeah. So we have to really be ready for Srimad Bhagavatam. Is the Mahapuran, very nice book, is the Krishna's incarnation. But if you want to enter the mystery of Srimad Bhagavatam, then must listen to it from the right source, from the pure devotee. Text 42.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, before we go to test number 42, can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Thank you. In the purport we've just read,
Yeah.
2 basic points that touches my heart. One is that Srimad Bhagavatam, as described in the purport by Srila Prabhupada, is not supposed to be read, or the Vedic scriptures, or Vedic teaching generally, for the purpose by maintenance or by collecting money. So it is said that Vedic scripture knowledge should not be given for money. And I think I had a very, in the early days, maybe about 15, 20 years back, there was a time I was actually looking at establishing a Vedic school. And then one of my senior brothers there discouraged me very strongly that you cannot establish a school, because by the time if you establish that, you cannot maintain education by collecting funds from the students. Knowledge is supposed to be given free. But we see that in the last 1 decade, 10 years to now, the development of ISKCON globally, a lot of schools have developed, and part of it is also this studies online and even studies in India. You have to pay for you to be able to get. So how do we reconcile this fact? How do we reconcile it?
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, Krishna?
Yes, I can hear you, Madam.
Yeah. The one is the professional reciters, they are not devotees actually. They are not following the paramparam. They just want to get money from that. And for devotees, it's true. We have a Mayapur Institute, we have a Vrindavan Institute, we have Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, and it's paid. But that money that the organizers of the Bhakti Shastri they get, it is for the pleasure of Krishna. They still use it for propagating the mission. But the professional reciters, they have wives and children, and when they get money from reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, they go to their home and they use that money to gratify their senses. You understand? That's the difference. For instance, now we are doing this program. The teachers, they use their time, the energy, and money to buy some data. Okay, so it's logic that at least students who want to get knowledge think of that by contributing some little thing. Okay, because getting knowledge without giving anything at all is not good. We know the story of I think Kalavya. We got knowledge from his guru. Then he didn't pay any dakshina. So the guru asked him to give dakshina. Then he gave his right thumb. Gave his right thumb. And when he was caught, he was not able to be as powerful as Arjuna. So to give dakshina is different from being paid. What we take is called dakshina. And to organize also, in an institution like Mayapur and other places, they pay the lights, they take they take good care of the everything, the chart, the markers, everything is paid. So they ask the student to contribute something minimum. But the difference is that when the professional reciters, when they get money, they use that money to go and gratify their senses with their wife and children. Sometimes they go and drink and they go and smoke, which is very bad. They are called professional reciters. But we are doing that on the instruction of an acharya. Srila Prabhupada said that we need to teach the scriptures so that the devotees can understand what they are doing. So we are not actually professionals. It is called Bhagavat Seva. Bhagavat Seva. It is a service actually. The students are taking service by listening to the Bhagavatam. The teachers are also doing Seva by teaching Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is called Bhagavat Seva. It is not a modern activity. Is that okay with you, Prabhu? Salika Prabhu is there?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the explanation.
Okay?
It's okay. But before you go, like I said, 2 points I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
The other point is in the course of explaining the verse we just read, you expanded on the authenticity of the Vedic scriptures as being authentic and not related to, not limited to the mundane understanding of historical facts about the world, and its, Prabhupada also mentioned that in the purport. I was in a class of world religion sometimes back. I do lectures in the university. So the final year student, one of them asked me a question, and I was giving references from Bhagavatam, the history of the world, the history of the world religion, and how religion became what it is today, even the Christianity and Islam, how they all are mentioned in the Bhagavatam, in the Puranas. So then he asked, he said, so where is the source of all of this knowledge? I quoted that script, I quoted the Bhagavatam and the Puranas, but then he was asking, so because in this academic world, they depend on objective analysis for
the Bluetooth device is ready to pair. The Bluetooth device.
So yeah, so then he was asking, so what is the authority of these scriptures that you are quoting? So I wanted to speak on that. I did explain for my part because the authority of the very scriptures is very clear, but I want also to share.
Yeah. Same thing also, if we ask them what is the authority on the Bible, they will tell you Jesus Christ. The authority of the Quran, they will tell you is Muhammad. Yes, the authority of Bhagavad-Gita is Krishna. And the authority of Bhagavatam, okay, the same is Krishna. Yeah, now we are saying that Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. Actually, the word Veda means the original manual for study, for understanding everything. Veda. No, the Veda was just like you have a very nice machine, mobile phone. When it comes it's packed in the carton nicely, and we have the notice from the carton. When you open the carton, you can read from the notice how to use that machine. Same thing also. This word is like a big machine. So if you want to know how to use it, how to live peacefully in harmony, you need to know how to apply different things. So everything is contained in the Vedas. Okay. So and even before yesterday, we divided the Vedas in the four. No, the scriptures was there before in the form of the Shruti. People were listening. They were called Shruti Dharas. They can hear something today, and after 10 and 1,000 years, you can still remember. So this time passed, and in Kali Yuga, because Krishna, people cannot have the same, spiritual potency. That's why yesterday divided the Vedas into four: Vidi Veda, Atharva Veda, Yogi Veda, and Samaveda. Otherwise, the knowledge has been there since time immemorial. That's why this was mentioned. People think that we need to cut everything from Buddha's appearance on the time of Jesus Christ. But the Vedas, the Vedic scriptures have been there since time immemorial. Actually, the Vedic literatures exist since the time the universe has been existing. Okay? So it's not a new thing. It's, as long as Krishna exists, the knowledge has been existing also. It's not a new thing. Like you have things called Upadharmas, religions that appear in Kali Yuga: Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity. They came only in this Kali Yuga. Before Kali Yuga, where some religion existed. Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means the original and natural occupation of the soul. Sanatana Dharma. Dharma. The dharma of the fire is to burn, it's hot. The dharma of the water is liquidity. The dharma of the sugar is sweet. So the dharma of the soul is to serve the super soul. It's not new. So Hare Krishna is not a new religion. It is the way of life. It is the original culture of the soul. Before Jesus Christ appeared, the soul exists, right? So we are having some connection between the soul and the super soul. Before Jesus Christ, before Buddha, before Muhammad. This is what we are teaching. The original knowledge. The Mahapuran is the Sanatana Dharma. Is that okay?
Yes, Maharaj, it's okay. It's very okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so can we move forward? Text,
yes. 42.
42, yes. Yeah. Satu samsrai vayamasa maharajam pratistam prayopa vistam Kangayam, Patam, Parmat, Silhi. Any volunteer to read? Translation?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
I read translation.
Yes.
Sukadev Goswami, the son of yesterday, in his turn, delivered the Bhagavatam to the great emperor Parikshit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of the Ganges, awaiting death without taking food or drinks.
Yes. Okay. The purport is a bit long. Okay. Start reading, and we can maybe stop and summarize it.
Okay. All transcendental messages are received properly in the chain of disciplic succession. This disciplic succession is called parampara. Unless, therefore, Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literatures are received through the parampara system, the reception of knowledge is not bona fide. Vyasadeva delivered the message to Sukadev Goswami, and from Sukadev Goswami, Sukha Goswami received the message. One should therefore receive the message of Bhagavatam from Sutta Goswami or from his representatives, and not from any irrelevant interpreter. Emperor Parikshit received the information of his death in time, and he at once left his kingdom and family and sat down on the bank of the Ganges to fast till death. All great sages, rishis, philosophers, mystics, etc., went there due to his imperial position. They offered many suggestions about his immediate duty, and at last it was settled that he would hear from Sukadev Goswami about Lord Krishna. Thus the Bhagavatam was spoken to him. Sripad Sankaracharya, who preached Mayavada philosophy and stressed the importance, and stressed the impersonal feature of the Absolute, also recommended that one must take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, for there is no hope or gain from debating indirect. Sripad Sankaracharya admitted that what he had preached in the flowery grammatical interpretations of the Vedanta Sutra cannot help one at the time of death. At the critical hour of death, one must recite the name of Govinda. This is the recommendation of all great transcendentalists. Sukadev Goswami had long ago stated the same truth, that at the end, one must remember Narayan. That is the essence of all spiritual activities. In pursuance of this eternal truth, Srimad Bhagavatam was heard by Emperor Parikshit, and it was recited by the able Sukadev Goswami. And both the speaker and the receiver of the message of Bhagavatam were duly delivered by the same medium. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. This is very nice verse. So, they will say that the son of Vyasadeva, Sukadev Goswami, in his turn delivered the Srimad Bhagavatam to the Greek emperor Parikshit, surrounded by sages at the bank of the Ganges. It is called the Parampara. So one verse of Bhagavad-Gita was mentioned there, 4:2. Evam paramparam praptam imam rajasavidu sa prayanaka yugunasta parantapa. Yes. So any bona fide knowledge should be received through the paramparam system. Simply separate section. You have knowledge, fine, good. Why do you get that knowledge? What is the source of your knowledge? That knowledge, is it coming from your brain, from your intelligence, from your mind, or from what is the source? Because for a knowledge to be authentic and powerful, That knowledge must come from the right source to be able to have the expected effects. Okay, so that is the system. So, and Sukadev, Sukadev, the son of Vyasadev, he got the knowledge and he also delivered to Parikshit. And the same thing we are doing. This is the Paraparam system. Yeah. And the king received many suggestions about his immediate duty before death. So the sages told him, yes, the best thing to do is to take shelter of Krishna at the time of death. That people don't know. When it's time to die, people take shelter of the bank account, take shelter of the wife, the children, and so many things. Or sometimes the nifty power. But the only thing to do, the best thing to do, is to take shelter of Krishna, of the little feet of Krishna. Bhagavad-Gita 8:5. At the time of death, who can remember me only? You don't say me and my sister. No. Say at the time of death, who can remember me only will attain my nature. Yes. So Sukadev, King Parikshit, he was cursed to die in 7 days. So he was very intelligent to ask, what is my duty? What should I do to get the maximum benefits before quitting my body? So the answer was given to him that you have to take shelter of at the little feet of Krishna. Okay? Is that okay? Then we move to text 43. This text is another memorizing sloka. Don't forget the text 1, the text 40 is the memorizing sloka, and this one also, 43 is also the memorizing sloka. Very nice. Krishne swadamo pagate dharma janajipi sah kalau nastat krishnamesha puranapto duno saha. Translation. Sukadev Goswami, the son of Vyasadev, in his, what is that? What are we now? That's 43, right?
43, translation.
Yeah.
Yes, 43, yeah.
Okay, to read the translation. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Translation. This Bhagavata Puran is as brilliant as the sun. It has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Puran.
Good. Well, someone can read quickly the purport?
Okay. Can I continue with the purport?
Yeah, go on, please.
Okay. So, Lord Krishna has his eternal Dharma or abode, where he eternally enjoys himself with his eternal associates and paraphernalia. And his eternal abode is a manifestation of his internal energy, whereas the material world is a manifestation of his external energy. When he descends on the material world, he displays himself with all paraphernalia in his internal potency, which is called Atma Maya. In the Bhagavad-Gita, the Lord says that he descends by his own potency. Atma Maya, his form, name, fame, paraphernalia, abode, etc., are not therefore creations of matter. He descends to reclaim the fallen souls and to re-establish codes of religion which are directly enacted by him. Except God, no one can establish the principles of religion. either he or a suitable person empowered by him can dictate the codes of religion. Real religion means to know God, our relationship with him, our duties in relation with him, and to know ultimately our destination after leaving this material body. The conditioned souls who are entrapped by the material energy hardly know all these principles of life. Most of them are like animals engaged in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. They are mostly engaged in sense enjoyment under the pretension of religiosity, knowledge, or salvation. They are still more blind in the present age of Korel or Kali Yuga. In the Kali Yuga, the population is just a royal edition of the animals. They have nothing to do with spiritual knowledge or godly religious life. They are so blind that they cannot see anything beyond the needs of the body. They have no information of the spirit soul beyond the jurisdiction of the subtle mind, intelligence, or ego. But they are very much proud of their advancement in knowledge, science, and material prosperity. They can risk their life to become a dog or hog just after leaving the present body, but they have completely lost sight of the ultimate aim of life.
No problem.
The personality of Goddess Sri Krishna appeared before us just a little prior to the beginning of the Kali Yuga, and he returned to his eternal home practically at the commencement of Kali Yuga. While he was present, he exhibited everything by his different activities. He spoke the Bhagavad-Gita theoretically and eradicated all pretentious principles of religiosity. And prior to his departure from this material world, he empowered Sri Vyasadeva through Narada to compile the messages of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and thus both the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam are like torchbearers for the blind people of this age. In other words, if men in this age of Kali wants to see the real light of life, they must take to these two books only, and their aim of life will be fulfilled. Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study of the Bhagavatam, and the Srimad Bhagavatam is the summum of life, Lord Sri Krishna personified. We must therefore accept Srimad Bhagavatam as the direct representation of Lord Krishna. One who can see Srimad Bhagavatam can see also Lord Sri Krishna in person. They are identical. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, the most important thing from this verse is that in the translation it said this Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna, who is on above. Yes. So the Srimad Bhagavatam arrives just after the departure of Lord Krishna. That's why it says the Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. So many things are happening now in this Kali Yuga. People saying, okay, there is no God. But God is there. Krishna is there in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. People think that there is no God, that's why they are looking for God in the other scriptures, which are not necessarily bona fide, or that scripture that does not give full knowledge about the form of God, his name, his activities. And the Srimad Bhagavatam gives all details. Yeah. So people are suffering in this world. Why? Because there is no, the original substance, which is God, is not there. They are trying many things, many ways to solve our problems. That's no solution. Why? Because you don't know the solution. The solution is God. Okay? So if you take shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, all problems, this is the Kali Yuga. Actually, Kali Yuga means the age of quarrel, hypocrisy, and irreligion, adharma. Yada dharma, glani, bhavati bharata, glani. When the religion is decline. This Kali Yuga is very bad, so we need to search God. What is burning? Because it cannot appear in front of us because we are not pure. We can take shadow of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is as good as Krishna himself. Okay? Just like when we say the Guru doesn't die. When the Guru wants to leave, he impacts his Shakti into one of his disciples, just like a Silabhasinata. Thakur, one was living. He gives knowledge to Srila Prabhupada, like that. So from Brahma to Narada to different gurus, today now we have Srila Prabhupada. So the same knowledge is there. Krishna, okay, left after the Kurukshetra battle, but it is here now in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very, very important to understand this. So now, from now, we have to have a different view. When we take Srimad Bhagavatam, when we see Srimad Bhagavatam in the temple or in a bookshelf, we should know, hey, this book is Krishna himself. It is Krishna. So we are holding Krishna. And we don't know. We are holding Krishna in our hands. Very interesting. Hare Krishna. Text 44. Tejasa am tajagamanam tatra nitastat mugrat tuham va savisyami tatamati. Translation. Prabhu, can you read?
O learned Brahmanas, when Sukadev Goswami recited Bhagavatam, there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus, by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from that great and powerful sage. Now, I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him, and as I have realized it.
Good. Okay, go on. For the purpose.
One can certainly see directly the presence of Lord Sri Krishna in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam if one has heard it from a self-realized soul, like Sukadev Goswami. One cannot, however, learn Bhagavatam from a bogus hired reciter whose aim of life is to earn some money out of such recitation and employ the earning in sex indulgence. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who is associated with persons engaged in sex life. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. Now, can one learn Bhagavatam from one who interprets the text by his mundane scholarship? One has to learn Bhagavatam from the representative of Sukadev Goswami and no one else. If one at all wants to see Lord Sri Krishna in the pages, that is the process, and there is no alternative. Sutta Goswami is a bona fide representative of Sukadev Goswami because he wants to present the message which he received from the great learned Brahmana. Sukadev Goswami presented Bhagavatam as he had it from his grandfather, great-father. And so also Sutta Goswami is presenting Bhagavatam as he had had it from Sukadev Goswami. Simple hearing is now. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Simple hearing is not all. One must realize the next text with proper attention. The word Nevishta means that Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. That is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Krishna in every page. The secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, hearing, and mating. But somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Sri Krishna in person in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. We send the Bhakti-Vedanta purport of the first canto, third chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Yes, very nice verse. See, he said that we can see Krishna from every page of Srimad Bhagavatam. But provided we get the knowledge from a self-reliant person. Otherwise, people may read Srimad Bhagavatam, they say, I really see Krishna. Yeah, but how do you read? Okay? Let's take knowledge from a self-reliant person. And also mentioned in the purport some qualification of the a good listener. Now must be free from sex life, must be pure in his eating, in sleeping, hearing, and mating. Yes. But the question Kalika Prabhu asked, what is the difference between the professional teachers, reciters of Srimad Bhagavatam, and in ISKCON we organize also Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, so many courses, and it's paid. The difference is that these professional reciters, they don't have this qualification mentioned here. No, they are not pure in their eating, their sleeping, and mating and feeling. Yeah. So when they give them money, you can take care of the wife and kids. Sometimes they eat even eggs, meat, and there is no good result. Yeah. So to get maximum result of Srimad Bhagavatam, then we must take it from a pure devotee, and also have this minimum qualification. It is mentioned at the end of the purpose. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, hearing, and mating. But someone, somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person at the very beginning, one can see Krishna person in the pages. Krishna in person in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. So you must be ready to get the knowledge with the proper source. So this is the last verse of the chapter 3. We now start the chapter 4 is the appearance of Narada. I think that's the appearance of Narada. So if possible, we can treat the verse 1 to 13. If possible. When are we supposed to stop? 9:30?
9:30, yeah, 9:30 Ghana time, 10:30 Nigerian time.
Okay, let's see if we can finish this 13 verses. That'd be great. So let's move fast. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 4, text 1. Ya Sauvacha Ibrovanam Samsuya Muninam Yidga Sinam Vida Sulapatam Bhavicha Sunako Bhavich. Someone read let me read the translation. Vyasadeva says, on hearing Sutta Goswami speak thus, Sonaka Muni, who was the elderly learned leader of the Rishi, engaged that sacrificial ceremonies. Congratulated Sutta Goswami by addressing him as follows. in the meeting of learned men, when there are congratulations or addresses for the speaker, the qualification of the congratulator should be as follows. He must be the leader of the house and an elderly man. He must be vastly learned also. So Rishi had all these qualifications, and thus he stood up to congratulate Sri Sudha Goswami when he expressed his desire to present Srimad Bhagavatam exactly as he had it from Sukadeva Goswami, and also realize it properly, personally. Personal realization does not mean that one should, out of vanity, attempt to show one's own learning by trying to surpass the previous acharya. You must have full confidence in the previous acharya, and at the same time, you must realize the subject matter so nicely that it can present the matter for the particular circumstances in a suitable manner. The original purpose of the text must be maintained. No obscure meaning should be straight out of it. Yet it should be presented in an interesting manner for the understanding of the audience. This is called realization. The leader of the assembly, Sonaka, could estimate the value of the speaker, Sri Sutta Goswami, simply by his uttering Yataditam and Yachamati. Therefore, he was very glad to congratulate him in ecstasy. No learned man should be willing to hear a person from who does not represent the original acharya. So the speaker and the audience were bona fide in this meeting. In this meeting where Srimad Bhagavatam was recited for the second time. That should be the standard of recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, so that real purpose can be served out without difficulty. Unless this recitation is created, Srimad Bhagavatam recitation for extraneous purposes is useless labor, both for the speaker and for the audience. Yeah. So the purpose is mentioned the qualification for congratulation one. Yeah. That person should be very learned and should be a leader of a house or an elderly person, and also very well versed in the knowledge also. Yes. So Sunaka Rishi had all these qualifications, and thus he stood up to congratulate Sutta Goswami. Because Sutta Goswami was about to recite for the second time the Srimad Bhagavatam, because he heard it from Sukadeva Goswami. So now in the assembly of sages in the forest of Namisrayana, Sutta Goswami was about to recite it the second time. So it was congratulated by Sonaka Rishi. Like when we want to give class, sometimes the Tamil president or Tamil commander introduce the speaker. It's the same thing. Okay? Yeah. And it was mentioned about personal relation. Well, the personal relation doesn't mean that one should, out of vanity, attempt to show his whole learning and forget the previous acharyas. That's not parampara. Yeah. Personal relation actually means to recite exactly what the previous acharyas have said. The Prabhupada was accused by Mayavadi that you are repeating the same comments of yesterday. You are not a very powerful person. You are reciting exactly. Are you a parrot? Yes. Prabhupada said yes. I'm very happy you are pointing out this point to me. Actually, my qualification is to recite exactly what I heard from my previous leaders. Yes, no speculation. As soon as you start speculating, call the whole thing. So both the reciter and the listener must be authentic to have the proper effect after the Bhagavatam. Okay. I'll move to the text 2. Text 2. Sonaka uvacha sutta mahabhaga vadano vadakambara atam bhagavatam punyam yatha bhagavan kaha. Sarita Babu, can you read translation and purport quickly?
Okay. Sunaka Rishi said, O Sutta Goswami, you are the most fortunate and respected of all those who can speak and recite. Please relate the pious message of Srimad Bhagavatam, which was spoken by the great and powerful sage Sukadev Goswami. Purport. Sutta Goswami is twice addressed herein by Sukadev Goswami out of great joy because he and the members of the assembly were eager to hear the text of Srimad Bhagavatam uttered by Sukadev Goswami. They were not interested in hearing it from a bogus person who would interpret in his own way to suit his own purpose. Generally, the so-called Bhagavatam reciters are either professional readers or so-called learned impersonalists who cannot enter into the transcendental personal activities of the Supreme Person. Such impersonalists squeeze some meanings out of Bhagavatam to suit and support impersonalist views. And the professional readers at once go to the head council to explain the most confidential part of the Lord's pastimes. Neither of these reciters are bona fide persons to recite Bhagavatam. Only one who is prepared to present Bhagavatam in the light of Sukadev Goswami, and only those who are prepared to hear Sukadev Goswami and his representatives are bona fide participants in the transcendental discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah. And again, it's mentioned about the professional reciters or Mayavadis, so-called personalists. Yeah, they cannot enter into the transcendental personal activities of the Lord. They cannot, because they are not getting the knowledge from the proper source. Yeah, the purport was said, Sutta Goswami, Sunaka Rishi said, "Oh Sutta Goswami, you are the most fortunate and respected all those who can speak and recite. Please relate the pious message of Srimad Bhagavatam, which was spoken by the great and powerful Sukadev Goswami." So this is the parampara. He had it from the right source and is now delivering it to the right people. Okay, then you can have the full effects of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Can we move to the text 3? Is the document text 3? Yeah, text 3. Yasmin yuge prabhite yam tane vakna ituna uta sancharita krishna Vitavam Samita Muni. Purport, translation. In what period and at what place was this first begun, and why was this taken up? From where did Krishna Dvipayam Vyas, the great sage, get inspiration to compile this literature? Forward. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is the special contribution of Srila Vyasadeva, there are so many inquiries by the learned Nakamuni. It was known to them that Srila Vyasadeva had already explained the text to the Vedas in various ways up to the Mahabharata for the understanding of less intelligent women, Shudras, and fallen members of the family of firstborn man. Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental to all of them because it has nothing to do with anything modern. So the inquiries are very intelligent and relevant. Yeah. So this question and what period, which place this Bhagavatam was first begun, and why, from where did Vyasadeva get the inspiration, compile the Veda? So they want to know the source. Actually, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very powerful. It is Krishna himself. So the sages, they want to know what is the source of Srimad Bhagavatam. How did Vyasadeva himself got Srimad Bhagavatam? So that will explain otherwise the chapter. The chapter of this chapter is called the appearance of Narada. Actually, Narada Muni is the cause of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He instructed, Vyasadeva to write Srimad Bhagavatam. After he wrote so many things about the Varnashram Dharma, he was not happy. So his guru, Narada Muni, instructed him to write something about Krishna as an pure devotees. So let's go to text 4. Yes, the text 4. Tasya putro mahayogi samadhin kalpakah ekanta machi unido Udo muda ideyate. Translation. Is Vyasadeva's son was a great devotee and equivalence monista, whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. Forward. Srila Sukadeva Goswami was a liberated soul, and thus he remained always alert, not to be trapped by the illusory energy. In the Bhagavad-Gita, this alertness is very sadly explained. The liberated soul and the conditioned soul have different engagements. The liberated soul is always engaged in the progressive path of spiritual attainment, which is something like a dream for the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul cannot imagine the actual engagement of the liberated soul. While the conditioned soul just dream about spiritual engagement, the liberated soul is awake. Similarly, the engagement of the conditioned soul appears to be a dream for the liberated soul. The conditioned soul and a liberated soul may apparently be on the same platform, but actually they are differently engaged, and their attention is always alert, either in sense enjoyment or in self-realization. The conditioned soul is absorbed in matter, whereas the liberated soul is completely indifferent to matter. The difference is explained as follows. Yeah, see, Sukadeva Goswami, when he was in the womb of his mother, actually stayed there 14 good years. 16. Have you ever heard that? a pregnancy of 16 years. Even in Africa, we will say this is witchcraft. But Sukadeva Goswami said 16 good years in the womb of his mother. Why? Because he didn't want to come out, because he didn't want to get contaminated by material energy. His father, they were approaching. My dear son, please come. You have stayed so long in the womb of your mother. Please come. Sukadeva Goswami refused to come, because he said, you, my father, you already entangled also in this material business. You are inviting me to become like you? No way. Not possible. So it is Krishna personally who asked Sukadeva Goswami to descend. Yes, I will protect you. You will not fall in Maya. Okay? Actually, Srila Prabhupada, one story, Srila Prabhupada one day was trying to go out with his disciples in America. So he paid obeisance to the deities, and he was crying. He was crying. And after some time, some of the disciples asked him, Prabhupada, Swamiji, yes, we are fallen souls. We can cry sometimes, but you also cry. Why? Why are you crying? Then Prabhupada told them, this is the difference between you and me. You guys, you are not afraid of Maya. There is danger at every step. Maya does not have any friendship with anyone anymore. Devi Saguna Mahima Maya Dhyatya. This is Bhagavad-Gita 7:14. Krishna said, Maya is Devi, divine energy. And he says, Mama Maya is my energy. And it is Dhyatya. Very, very difficult to overcome. Yeah. But those who take shelter of Krishna can easily overcome it. Yes. Sometimes devotees become loose in their sadhana. Then it's a good occasion for Maya to trap them. So, Sukadeva Goswami knew that, yes, I don't want to be entangled in this material energy. So he was pretending to be like a madman. Same thing also with when Bharat became a deer and again took a form of that Bharat, and it was behaving like a madman to avoid any contact with material energy. Yes. Text 5. I think we have to do something. We have to, if you want to finish, let's leave the Sanskrit, go on translation, and try to read some two line of the purport. Yes, translation. Go to translation directly.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes. Translation.
There's a hand raised by
Unraised.
Isaac Nati.
Okay.
Yeah, Maharaj, Hare Krishna. Pranam. Yes, I want to know, can the baby speak in the womb? Why in the womb of the mother can he speak?
Can he speak?
Can the baby speak in the womb?
Normally, ordinary babies cannot do that. But Sukadeva Goswami is a special soul. Yes. Babies, they don't. Actually, if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, I think on the 7 months, the baby in the womb of the mother, he sees the Paramatma Seva soul and he offers prayers. That my dear Seva soul, my dear Lord, please, I'm suffering too much from this prison. If you allow me to come out from this prison, I will be your first disciple, your first devotee. It is there in the third canto. Well, as soon as we come out from the womb of the mother, we forget everything. But Sukadeva Goswami is a different person. He came purposely to teach Srimad Bhagavatam. But generally, babies, they cannot speak. What are you going to speak? wait, it is your time to appear, take birth. That Sukadeva Goswami is a special soul. You know, he came on a mission, That's why he could stay 16 good years in the womb of the mother, 16 good years. And he was conversing with Krishna that I cannot come out. Krishna granting him that, please come out. If you come out, I will protect you. Because it's different, it's not ordinary soul. But ordinary babies, they can't do that. Ordinary babies, only 9 months must come out. Maybe it's too late, maybe 11 or maybe 10 or 11. That's not 1 year, not 2 years, 3 years. Generally, when we come out maybe 8 years, 8 months, but generally it's 9 months for everyone. This is the law. Okay?
Maharaj, can I ask one question quickly?
Yes.
There was a personality that took birth in Nigeria some years back.
Okay.
He happens to become the founder of a Christian religious sect.
Okay.
It's called Saint Moses Orimolade. And it is said that he is an incarnation of one of the disciples of Lord Jesus Christ. But why I'm asking the question is that because we do not accept any incarnation or empowered being from mundane according to Vedic standard.
Yes.
For this personality, while he was in the womb, he was able to speak with his mother. The stories even added that when his mother goes to the farm to carry firewood and logs, sometimes he assists the mother to raise the. He would just tell the mother to bend down, and then the mother will see that somebody has put something on the log of wood on her head. And then eventually, when he was born, the moment he was born after 14 months, according to history. And when he was born, he stood up immediately and he started speaking. But his father was a head of traditionalists, so he started using all kinds of incantations to that this is abnormal, this cannot be. So he started using so many incantations on him to stop talking and so that he can lie down back as a normal child. But the child was not responding. And then at the end, he felt that this is becoming too much, so he decided to kill the baby. So he took out the last power that he has, and he ate it according to historical account on the baby's leg, and the baby fell down. And when he fell down, he stopped speaking at that moment, and he refused to stand up. And it was like that for till the age of 16, I think 16 or 17 years. And until when he was that 16 years, he didn't stand up, he didn't talk to nobody. And when he was about 16 or 17, then he stood up. And when he stood up, he just left his village. And when he left his village, he entered some truck carrying goods to Lagos Island. It was in some state, western state of Nigeria. Then he left. Immediately he stood up and started talking. He just left the family and he went to Lagos Island. And when he arrived there, he started preaching Christianity. He didn't go to school, he has not gone anywhere, but he recites all of the Bible verses off head and he will speak. So at the end of the day, he became the founder Acharya of the Cherubim and Seraphim Church worldwide today. He's physically no more, but such a personality, because there is no record here to account for such a personality. How do we classify such a person?
Yeah, you know, in any rule, you still have some exceptions. Otherwise, generally speaking, ordinarily babies, they have to follow the normal procedure. 9 months on the womb and appear. And we have some few exceptions in all traditions. So this is one example we are mentioning. But it's possible that we have some special cases like that. few ones in the different part of the world. In Africa, of course, in Africa, many people they have different situation like that. Some babies when they take birth, I think I heard who was that his umbilical cord was wrapped around his leg like a umbilical thread. Was already a brahmana by birth, in a sense. So it's possible. It's possible. And in Africa and in many other traditions, it's like that can happen, but it's not common. There are few exceptions. It is possible. Yeah. Just like you say that Jesus Christ was born without mother and a father. In the same Bible, we have another person also, Methuselah, something like that, was born without father and without mother. So situation like that, you can find many in the world, in Africa, in India, many places like that. But it's possible. Yeah. Thank you.
Maharaj, my question is, should we consider such a person as a special being, or because for the fact that that person ended up becoming the founder of a religious tradition, and then the Bhagavatam will add that Krishna is I think that was in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, he said that Sakshat Bhagavatam, Prabhupada often quotes that verse that no one can expound the powers of religion without being empowered by God. Can we ascribe that person to be an empowered living entity?
Yeah, it is an empowered on his own level, and he's preaching Bible. That's all right, no? His message was on the Bible jurisdiction, not on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, so he was empowered on a certain level. Just like people are also empowered in that tradition, African tradition, herbalist. Yes, you can have vision, you can have vision to cure, to go to take some plants in the forest, to cure people. It's possible. So we have different level of being empowered by not necessarily by God, by Krishna, but by maybe some demigod and a spirit like that. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What is there is empowered. From the description we had, is an empowered soul. That's on a certain level. Yeah. His name is not mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we don't accept him as the bonus.
Yeah, it's not mentioned in Bhagavatam.
Wow, it is 9:32. So what we do? Huh? We stop?
We have come to the end of the day's timing. Now it is left for you to decide, Maharaj.
So we finish remaining verses quickly? Huh? Okay. Let's start and conclude. Huh? Let's take verse 5.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanava Pranams.
Yes, Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanava.
All glories, all glories. Sorry for our shortcomings of yesterday. Please.
Yes, no problem.
Sorry for our shortcomings. And I think from henceforth we'll be more attentive to the timings. And please, all students will be reminded that the link is the same and the timing is the same. Except something crop up, then we'll inform everybody. Meanwhile, we rely on Salika Prabhu to be conducting every information, transmitting every information, and keeping up, keeping updates. But please, we are happy for your attendance for today, and we plead that you maintain it. And characteristically, the students will go and wait for the teacher, not that the teacher come and wait. Yesterday, the situation was very embarrassing, but we are only appealing for the blessings of Maharaj so that it will not repeat itself. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Yeah. So, do you stop here now, or I will take?
I will disappear. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will disappear now.
Maybe we can stop here, Maharaj, because in about 30 minutes time, or we can go for another 15 minutes if the other students agree, because in about 15 minutes or 20 minutes time, we'll be connecting the Bhakti Sastri students. So, but it all depends on you.
Okay.
But we can go as small as.
I think we can go as small as.
Go on.
Yes, please.
Okay, quickly,
Okay.
verse 5. Verse 5. We just go to the translation.
Should I read?
Yes, please read first.
While Swift yesterday was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with clothes. Although Swift yesterday himself was not naked, but they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified, and when looking at them, made no distinction between male and female. But the sage made such distinctions.
Good. What?
In the Bhagavad-Gita 5:18, it is said that a learned sage looks equally on a learned and gentle Brahmana, a chandala, dog eater, a dog or a cow, due to his spiritual vision. Srila Sukadeva Goswami attained that stage. Thus, he did not see a male or female. He saw all living entities in different dresses. The ladies who were bathing could understand the mind of a man simply by studying his demeanor. Just as by looking at a child, one can understand how innocent he is. Sukadeva Goswami was a young boy, 16 years old. And therefore, all the parts of his body were developed. He was naked also, and so were the ladies. But because Sukadeva Goswami was transcendental to sex relations, he appeared very innocent. The ladies, by their special qualification, could sense this at once, and therefore they were not very concerned about him. But when his father passed, the ladies quickly dressed. The ladies were exactly like his children or grandchildren, yet they reacted to the presence of Vyasadeva according to the social custom because Srila Vyasadeva played the part of a householder. The householder has to distinguish between a male and a female. Otherwise, it cannot be a householder. One should therefore attempt to know the distinction between body and soul without any attachment for male and female. As long as such distinction is there, one should not try to become a sannyasi like Sukadeva Goswami. At least, theoretically, one must be convinced that a living entity is neither male nor female. The outward dress is made of matter by material nature or to attract the opposite sex and thus keep one entangled in material existence. A liberated soul is above this perverted distinction. It does not distinguish between one living being and another. For him, they are all one and the same spirit. The perfection of this spiritual vision is the liberated stage. And Srila Sukadeva Goswami attained that stage. Srila Vyasadeva was also in this transcendental state, but because he was in the householder's life, he did not pretend to be a liberated soul as a matter of custom.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So yes, we have to learn equal vision. Yes, what is more important is the soul in the body. So the Brahmana, Chandala, dog, or dog eater, cow, or elephant. The most important thing is the soul in the body. And we have to avoid the false identification of the body. Yes. So Sukadeva Goswami was completely above, the attachment of the body. So the young ladies, they could see that. And when his father, the same father was passing, they knew that, yeah, this person knows what is called material activities. They cover themselves. And when Sukadeva Goswami was passing, they didn't feel anything. Yeah. So we have to be rather above the hankara, the material identification of the body. That's 6.
Katam alakshita purai samprapta kurat jangala umata mukha jadava nisvicharam jajat savai. How was he, Srila Sukadeva, the son of Vyasa, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapur, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangala? appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded. Purpose. The present city of Delhi was formerly known as Hastinapur because it was first established by King Asti Goswami Sukadev after leaving his paternal home. He was roaming like a madman, and therefore it was very difficult for the citizens to recognize him in his exalted position. The sage is not therefore recognized by sight, but by hearing. One should approach a sadhu or great sage, not to see, but to hear. If one is not prepared to hear the words of a sadhu, there is no profit. Sukadev Goswami was a sadhu who could speak on the transcendental activities of the Lord. He did not satisfy the whims of ordinary citizens. He was recognized when he spoke on the subject of Bhagavatam, and he never attempted jugglery like a magician. Outwardly, he appeared to be a retarded, dumb madman, but in fact, he was the most elevated transcendental personality. Hare Krishna.
Good. Okay, what we do? Let's read the remaining verses, just the translation, not purport. And I will conclude and close. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 12, 13. That's the translation.
That's it. Okay. How did it so happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of the Vedas, Bhagavatam, to be sung to him?
Yes. Next verse.
Text number 8. He, Sukadev Goswami, was accustomed to stay at the door of the householder only long enough for a cow to be milked, and they did this just to sanctify the residents. And text number 9 says, it is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. Text number 10 says, he was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until death? And text number 11 says, he was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed kingly opulences that were difficult to give up. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life? Text number 12. Those who are devoted to the cause of the personality of God live only for the welfare, development, and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So even though the emperor Parikshit was free from all attachment to worldly possession, how could he give up his mortal body, which was the shelter for others? The final verse, 13, is, we know that you are expert in the meaning of all subjects, except some portion of the Vedas, and thus you can clearly explain the answers to all questions we have just put to you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you very much. So after you can take time and read the purpose of these few verses, and for next time you read in advance chapter. You take your chapter 4, verse 14, 25, and let's say verse 14 to 33. Okay, for next session. Yeah. Okay. So next section, you read chapter 4, verse 14 to 33. Read that in advance, and try to go to page 33 on your handbook. There's some questions there. Then you treat them and prepare for the next session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
You said we should go to the last statement, man. Page.
Yes. On your handbook, you go to page handbook, page 23. Yeah,
23.
The next thing to read, chapter 4, verses 14 to 25, and chapter 4, verses 26 to 33. Read and prepare for next time.
Okay, Maran. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai. Nataraja Bhagavatam ki
Jai. Haribo.